Speech off.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I am kind of sick. Well, I'm actually really sick. My mom has COVID, which is real fun. I'm waiting to see when I test positive. Anyway, I've been sick this whole week. But I didn't want to let Library Week go by without acknowledging it. So I thought that I would do the Library Lovers tag. I saw it on Tales and Treats with Tay's channel. And I looked up the tag, and the original person who started the tag is a girl named Josie. Her channel is Pie and Books. P-I, like pie. You know, the math pie. Interesting. I wonder if she's a mathematician. Anyway, so yeah, I thought that I would kind of do this tag. I guess before I start this tag, I want to say that I am a huge library fan just in general. I frequent the regular libraries, and I was also at the Braille Institute library as a kid all the time. So I'll probably be talking about all these different libraries interchangeably. I was never particular loyal fan to just one because, well, I'm blind and it's hard to find the books I want at just the one library. So I had to migrate to many different libraries as a kid. So yeah, let's just get started. So first question is, how often do you visit your local library? I actually do not visit my local library anymore because I don't have to visit my local library because both Braille Institute and the public library systems now have apps where you can download digital audiobooks. So there's really no need to visit my local libraries anymore because I don't read print books and we don't really use CDs anymore. So, that's what I used to get when I would visit the local library. I would stock up on CDs and cassettes and, do my thing. So yeah, I no longer do visit it. I did go once because I went, I think in last year, and it gave me such nostalgia because I hadn't been there in so long, and I kind of miss going there physically, but there's no reason to go there. But yeah, I went there because I wanted to get these American Girl books that weren't available in Braille, and I scanned them to read because I was listening to this American Girls podcast and they were reading those books. So yeah, it was kind of nice to revisit my library. Everybody was like, hi, where have you been? Because it's been years. Anyway, are you the type of person who checks out more books than you know you can read, or are you someone who only checks out the exact amount of books you intend on reading before they are due? So I've always been the type of person who checks out more than she's able to read, and then I renew them, or I end up with fines when fines existed. Now we don't have fines in California, which in my opinion is crazy. Libraries need money as it is, and I don't know. I kind of feel like it's not fair to other people who want the book if you don't pay fines because, well, they're not going to get the book for one thing. And for another, what's to stop you from keeping the book if there's no punishment? You can just take a book and keep it. I don't know. I find that fines are necessary. As much as I hate paying them, I think taking away fines is insane. That's just my opinion, though. Braille Institute has always had a no fine policy, and I thought they were nuts too for doing that, honestly, just because, they don't ask for their stuff for ever. When I used to have books from them, I would keep them for ages, and then they would send a notice after a year of me having the books going, hey, can you please send them back? Thank you. Very politely, not even strictly. If you have them, cool. If you don't, oh well. And I'm just wow. I don't know. But yeah, I always had fines because I was always checking out too much. Now that I use Libby, I tend to check out books and then I'm overwhelmed by the amount I check out, and then I return them because I feel so bad for people who want to read them and I'm holding on to them. So I end up checking out a bunch of books and then returning a bunch of books and then buying them because I want to read them immediately and I regret returning them, if that makes sense. It's a whole spiral that I have going on now. But as a kid, I would definitely get way more than I needed. Actually, I would use my parents' library card. You can only get 10 audiobooks at a time on like my library card, like physical books when I was a kid. So I would bring like a huge bag and like load up my card and my dad's card. He only got a card because of me, so he was never interested in books. I just needed the extra card. So yeah, definitely an over checker outer. How old were you when you got your first library card? I think I was, how old was I? I know it didn't happen like most people when I was really little, because I remember I used to check out stuff with my dad's card, but then when we moved here to El Sereno, East LA, I started going to the El Sereno library here, and they offered to have my parents fill out the form for a card. So I think I was like 10 when I got my first card. So yeah, but it was kind of exciting to have my own card. Not that I use the card anymore, but yeah, I think I was like 10 when I got my first card. It wasn't like this huge momentous occasion like most other people, but yeah. And Braille Institute Library does not have cards. Do you go to your library looking for a particular book, or do you check out anything that piques your interest? So, okay. When I was a kid, I had a list of books that I wanted. I would type them out, and depending on who took me, because Dad didn't have the patience to go, like, hunting through the shelves, Mom did. So if Dad was taking me, I knew that I had to have a list of books that I wanted, and a lot of times they were, like, rereads, like, old favorites, so I would, like, type out a list, print it out, give it to the librarian. She would get all the books I wanted, and then I would leave. It was a quick visit. Dad loved that. Especially at the Central Library. That's one of the libraries that I frequented often. The Central Library in downtown LA was like my favorite haunt because, it was like the headquarters of all the Los Angeles public libraries. So like there was like rooms and rooms of books, and there was like an audiobook, like there was audiobooks in every room. So like it was like my paradise. Like once I found that library, I stopped going to the smaller libraries most of the time, and I frequented that one because I was always like getting stuff. Anyway, right, back to the question. But yeah, so it really depended on who took me to the library as a kid. Now I kind of, now you have like Libby, and you can kind of browse by genre, and I kind of browse by what I'm interested in, or sometimes I just look at the available now and go, oh, this looks good, or whatever, or, I watch a lot of BookTube now, so now I put things on hold from people's book hauls and stuff. But yeah, I don't think I ever really like gravitated toward a particular section, because a lot of the times the audiobooks were always mixed together, so there wasn't like a section of audiobooks for historical fiction or anything like that. The interesting thing is that I actually started learning about book catalogs early, because Braille Institute, you don't actually browse the shelves. You like look for things you want in a catalog, and you order them, and they have them at the counter for you. I always thought that kind of sucked a little bit, because I wanted to be able to like look through shelves of Braille books and like cassettes and pick what I wanted, not just from like a catalog. That was, I think, the one and only disappointment I ever had with Braille Institute Library, is that I was never able to just browse all like the shelves like you would at a regular public library. But I mean, things could be worse. Anyway. Okay, next question. Do you use your library to check out just books, or do you also check out DVDs, audiobooks, etc.? So I mainly check out audiobooks. I don't check out print books typically. But I used to check out DVDs all the time as a kid. And, VHS when that was a thing. That actually was the first thing I checked out as a kid, like movies and stuff. And then, I started going to audiobooks, but yeah, usually trips to the library would include DVDs as well. Although, the library that was next to my house, we kind of stopped doing it just because you only got to keep the DVDs for 2 days. Whereas if you got them at the Central Library, in downtown LA, you'd keep them for a week or 2 sometimes. I don't know why, but 2 days sucked. So it was almost not worth it to get DVDs. And Braille Institute Library did used to have audio description movies, like VHS tapes. I don't think they ever graduated to DVDs, though. I'm not even sure if they still have the, VHSs. I kind of want to know because I want to rewatch The Silver Chair. I think it's like the 6th Narnia book. And I remember watching The Silver Chair, audio described, through Braille Institute Library, and I've been looking for it ever since, and I never found it. Like, they never put it on streaming services or, even, on a DVD where, where it's audio described. So, the audio described version existed, but, they never, made it modern, which completely sucks, and I want it. Honestly, if Braille Institute still has the VHS, I would totally take it because we still have a VCR, and I really want to watch that movie. I'm supposed to go there on Monday. Maybe I'll find out. But, yes, I definitely checked out movies from there as a kid. Although, another funny thing about the movies is that I never actually appreciated them. I'm going to do a whole video on, my TV watching as a blind person. Kind of my history with that, because for some reason people think I don't watch TV. Anyway, yeah, I did not actually like the audio described movies as a kid because I would try to sing through the Disney songs, and then there's a describer lady describing the scenery over my rendition of Somewhere Over the Rainbow. I did not appreciate that. So, yeah, there are just certain movies that don't need description, especially over hit singles like Tomorrow from Annie. You do not get to describe the scenery when Annie is singing Tomorrow. It is a sin. Anyway, from what section of your library do you check out a majority of your books? Okay, I kind of answered this. I don't really have a section. What is your favorite part of using your local library? Oh, that's the last question. Honestly, I guess I've always loved the staff at the libraries that I frequented. Most of them have been really nice to me, and they always want to help me find books. And if they don't have them at their library, they would always order them for me at another library until I started going to the Central Library, where that's book headquarters. So generally speaking, any book that you want is probably going to be there versus the smaller libraries. So they all kind of knew me at the different libraries. I always had some librarian friend at each one. The librarian at the library near my house was really nice. He was this sort of older gentleman, and he was, he's got to be really old by now. Ouch. I should have said that. Anyway, but he always noticed me as a kid, and he really felt bad that when I was a little kid, there just was not a lot of audiobooks at the library. So, he would send me to other ones, and eventually he procured way more, so I was able to frequent that one more often. But yeah, he always made it a point to do nice things for me. So yeah, I would have to say that my favorite part of the library and the thing that I miss the most is the staff. You don't get that when you just download from Bard which is the website that Braille Institute has, or the like Libby or Hoopla or whatever. You just don't get that same experience. I can say the same thing about bookstores, because I used to go to bookstores too all the time. When I wanted a book that I wanted to keep, I would buy like the audio cassettes or audio CDs at bookstores, and now I just don't go there. So like you just lose that like in-person interaction that you used to have with library staff or bookstore people or whatever. And now I kind of just get it from BookTube or whatever, but there's just nobody to talk books with in person anymore the way there used to be. So that kind of sucks. But yeah, I really kind of miss just talking to people. Let's see, what else about libraries? I used to like story time as a kid. I didn't go that often though. And I actually wanted to do story time, like to volunteer at one of my libraries, but somebody said that you needed training or something to volunteer to do story time. And also they figured that my Braille note would distract kids, you know, because I'm reading from that. And they wouldn't be interested in listening to the story. They'd be more interested in pressing buttons on my computer, so there goes that idea. I guess that's kind of true to an extent. Little kids have very short attention spans, and something shiny with buttons is probably more interesting than the book that I'm reading. But yeah, I always wanted to volunteer to do story time. I love reading out loud and making different voices. But yeah, I liked story time as a kid when the few times I went. And yeah, I don't know, just libraries were just a huge part of my life, like always. If I couldn't get books from one, I'd get them from another one. And, you know, just, they were just my happy place, I guess. And it's just not the same now that everything's gone digital for me, so yeah. Anyway, that's the end of this video, and probably the end of my vocal capacity. I'm losing my voice. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. I'm really hoping to get to at least 100 subscribers by the end of June. We're in April, so I can still dream. See you guys.
Stop recording video.